a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Gava salut and welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad that we made it through another, half week? We're midway through it. From here on, we're just getting closer to the weekend. So hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you have survived this half of the week relatively unscathed. Actually, I hope you're doing way better than that. I hope you're doing wonderfully. Let's find out directly from you how you're doing today, starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents. Happy WTF Wednesday. Liquid Lunchers, have a great show, my friends. Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. Merpo, it's lunchtime. Red alert. Shields up. Prepare to release the Kraken Barrel. We'll talk about that a little bit. Yeah. I love you too, Netter. Thank you so much for stopping in. I know you've got your your training today. So we won't see you at least at the beginning of the hour. Hail to Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube and Fluff Chick Productions. So glad to see you. Yep. For another 20 minutes, you're in training. I know. Hail all, smash the like button, and enjoy the show. Thank you so much, Jonathan Conroy. Super appreciate you. Jay Aldrich, welcome. Howdy. I'm just so proud to be here. Well, I am proud to have you here, my friend. It's always nice to hang out with friends at lunchtime. Give me a second here. Let me say hi to everybody else. What weekend? The Empire Dilithium's mines never close. Yeah, I know. You're working hard, my friend, and we appreciate it. Leia Plus Size says, afternoon all. Thank you so much for being here, Leia Plus Size. It's good to see you. Yeah, little rough morning for me. I was literally working behind the scenes getting this stream together. Some of you probably noticed that the stream went up a little bit later than usual. I was working on the promos and a couple of other things, little technical things. I don't know how you guys feel about the promos. I've gotten a great response from a lot of people, a lot of encouragement on them, that they've actually really enjoyed them. I actually enjoy making them, and a couple of them came out. I was very pleased, pretty excited today, but that's kind of what took a bit of time. So WTF, it's Wednesday, and there was a couple things that I wanted to touch on today, but I realized that there's one that came up that I literally just saw on that Park Place that ties directly to what we were talking about on Monday. Monday's musings. I was saying I feel like we've turned a corner, and I spoke specifically about Snoop Dogg and his reaction to the whole Lightyear thing. Like I said, a little bit late, but good to see. And I use that as an example of the normies kind of starting to realize, oftentimes late, because they're not as keyed in as we are, right? Keying in and going, what the heck's going on, right? WTF reaction to that today on that Park Place. Let me go to the share screen and, share my screen. Again, this comes to us from that Park Place. And they're saying Hollywood turns on Snoop Dogg. Rapper faces heat after blasting Disney's Pixar Lightyear. So I haven't even read the article yet. I just saw it as we were going live, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I need to touch on that since we talked about this a little bit on Monday. And because it's kind of a follow-up, right? And the first inclination would be, well, Troy, apparently we haven't turned a corner. This is Hollywood reacting. This was just one person. No, I still insist that Snoop Dogg coming out and complaining about the Lightyear thing is an example of, although he is a celebrity, yes, he is not keyed into this greater zeitgeist of what's going on, just like the rest of the public. And just like the rest of the public, when he sees it, he reacts to it in a very visceral way. The vast majority of people are tired of this woke stuff. And I don't just mean conservatives. I mean liberals. There are people leaving the Democratic Party saying, you people have lost your minds. I've had a prediction for about the past year that the Democratic Party, it's not gonna fall apart, all the doomsayers and stuff. What might end up happening is the Democratic Party is either going to see a big shift towards populism and back to classical liberalism, or there will be a schism within the Democratic Party to the socialist left and the more populist-minded left of center classical liberals. That is my personal suspicion. Jay says, just stopped in to say howdy. My apartment has quarterly inspections tomorrow, so I've got to get back to cleaning my apartment. I've never heard of that. Quarterly inspections. Anyway, fair enough. Go do what you got to do. I totally understand getting the place cleaned up. You get that little bit of nesting going on, and it just feels so comfortable when everything's neat and tidy. Got to do that every now and again. So you take care. Have a great one, my friend. Thanks for stopping in. Let's face it, politicians in general are morally bankrupt if we're honest, Mark. I think there's plenty of blame to go around. But let's get to this piece in particular. Hollywood turns on Snoop Dogg. Rapper faces heat after blasting Disney's Pixar Lightyear. Now, we've been talking the past 2 days because we talk. Housing and urban development. Okay, yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, might be greater scrutiny there. This is what I often say, guys. People talk about their rights and their rights, but remember, whoever pays gets to dictate the rules to you. It's just the way it is. But anyway, speaking of who pays the bills, that's what I'm going to be talking about with this one here. When Snoop Dogg smoke. See what I did there? That wasn't even intentional. When Snoop Dogg spoke this weekend after Disney Pixar's Lightyear, it put him directly in Hollywood's crosshairs. After sharing his frustration with the film's Two Moms subplot, the rap legend is now facing censorship, celebrity attacks, and even calls to cancel his upcoming live performances. This story isn't just about Snoop Dogg anymore. It's about how Hollywood reacts, and when one of its own dares to question the Disney cultural agenda, and now Snoop Dogg himself may be shifting with the times. This is I hadn't read this article before I brought it up, but I'm telling you, this does not surprise me at all. We were talking earlier this week about the entertainment industry and how Hollywood is becoming more and more irrelevant as they speak out about their pet things and issues on social media that are not popular. People are becoming disenfranchised by the entertainment that's being put out there. They're becoming uninterested in celebrities. They used to consider celebrities, they called them Hollywood royalty, right? We used to revere them and regard them as something special, mostly because of the mystique and mystery that surrounded them. So we tended to project upon them a greater aura than they probably deserved. And now that's all been stripped away, and we see them warts and all. And we're like, man, not only are you no better than me, you're way, way worse, And people aren't going to the cinema the way they did. The money is drying up. Hollywood, California is drying up. People from the industry are leaving and going to other states. It's ridiculous. That reminds me of something else I want to bring up if I get a chance. I'll definitely talk more about it tomorrow. Anyway, yeah, and I think the whole Cracker Barrel thing too indicates that there's still some people in ivory towers that are completely cut off from reality. They don't understand what's going on. They still believe that everyone is going to accept anything they say at face value, and nobody is. So let's get to it. On the It's a Giving podcast, Snoop Dogg recounted how watching Lightyear with his grandson turned into an awkward moment when the boy asked, "Papa Snoop, how'd she have a baby with a woman?" The rapper admitted he was blindsided. "I didn't come here for this shit," he said. "I just came to watch a GD movie." Snoop admitted the moment threw him for a loop and confessed, "I'm scared to go to the movies now. They're going to ask questions. Yeah, they're going to ask. I don't have the answer." The honesty struck a chord with many parents and grandparents who felt the same way, but it also sparked immediate outrage from Hollywood circles. So I want to take a moment here. This is not what the article is saying, but this is what I am going to say because this sentence jogged me on this. It struck a chord with many parents and grandparents who felt the same way. If you have children, if you are raising children, and you are negotiating the difficult maze of how to talk to your children about adult things, whether or not to talk about them, and if so, how, okay? You do not appreciate outside influences forcing your hand on those things. They're sensitive enough, you know? So that's why we come to where we are. These elites, first, you have these rich people that don't raise their own children. They hire people to take care of their children. They are not involved in the concept of raising children. First. Secondly, you've got a bunch of celebrities that are choosing not to have families. They're in these kinds of same-sex relationships, choosing not to have children because they don't want children cramping, or they're in traditional male-female relationships, just not having kids because having kids means I've got to have responsibility, and they want to be able to party all the time. They want to put off having kids into their 30s, their 40s. Oh, now my clock is ticking. Now what do? Maybe I get a surrogate. Maybe I adopt. Maybe I do all this other stuff. And you have all these people making these decisions and then saying, but I want to say in how your children are raised. That's the problem that we're running into. So let's get back to Snoop Dogg here. So the fallout came fast. So reports suggested it's giving either cut or altered the segment after backlash, raising questions about whether performers are scrubbing dissent against Disney. Well, we know they've been doing that for a long time. But I don't think this is going to ring as positively for them as they may have thought it would in the past. Media personality T.S. Madison, whoever that is, railed against Snoop on TMZ Live, accusing him of being part of the problem and demanding he embrace pride-centric conversations with kids. Pride-centric conversations with kids. Let's be very clear what that means. Pride-centric means talking about sexual issues with children. That is not appropriate. I don't care if it's same-sex, gender fluid, traditional. Children should not be exposed to this stuff. If you think they should, that makes you something. Something that rhymes with what I do when I'm sweeping. You are the bigger problem. And a wood chipper is the solution. In Australia, oh yeah, bastion of free speech, right? Lawmakers and commentators have called for Snoop to be dropped from his AFL grand finale performance, with some labeling him a slur merchant. Common sense is a slur when the world is upside down. What began as one man's expressing discomfort at his children's film has snowballed into a full-blown industrial pile-on. I do believe that as we have seen a pivot away from Pride Month and rainbows all over the damn place and, all this ridiculousness, this is a final gasp of these cultural Marxists trying to cancel in a world that's increasingly saying, no, we don't want a part of this. The controversy also reveals something bigger. Snoop Dogg has evolved with the cultural moment. Back in 2017, Snoop made headlines with the Lavender video where he mock executed a Trump caricature called Ronald Clump. He was one of Hollywood's loudest celebrity critics of the U.S. president. Fast forward to January 2025, and Snoop stunned observers by performing a crypto ball, a Trump-adjacent inauguration event. Critics accused him of selling out. Snoop defended himself by saying the gig was about promoting crypto and financial literacy, not endorsing Trump. Yeah, see, that's the other thing. They want to amalgamate, right? So you will hear things like, you are suchophobe. And because you're suchophobe, that makes you racist and misogynist and all these other things that have nothing to do with that particular thing, right? And if you're any of these things, you're a Trump supporter. Even if you voted for Biden, you're a Trump supporter because you said a bad that we don't like. This is how this cancellation culture works. Okay, this is Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals 101. They literally published it in a damn book. And I'll keep mentioning that book until you start looking into it and understand where all this stuff comes from. He has also noted that he has nothing but love and respect for Trump, going back to their time together on The Apprentice in 2007. Right, you can like a person and not vote for them and not agree with their politics. Heaven forbid you have friends that you don't agree with, that have a different political opinion than you. Shock! Oh my God, no! I went to dinner and Uncle Jerry voted for someone that I didn't like. But you know what? We like some of the same movies. Right? And he taught me how to ride my bike. People need to get your priorities on straight. The shift is undeniable. The only reliably progressive, the once reliably progressive Snoop Dogg, and I don't think he's any less progressive than he ever was. Let's be clear. The Overton window has shifted. And now someone who was a lefty progressive is being called, a MAGA supporter. That's nothing changed on his part. They moved the goalpost. Is increasingly voicing thoughts that align with cultural conservatives, including criticism of Disney. Yeah, it's not just cultural it's not just conservatives in general. It is populists. It is left of center moderates. It is previously progressive, still progressive, but when you go that far left, everything looks radical to you. You're the radical, but you think everyone who's moderate is radical. Disney Pixar's Lightyear subplot showing Alicia Hawthorne and her wife raising a child was initially cut, only to be reinstated after activist pressure during Disney's clash over Florida's parental rights in education legislation. Let's just pause right there. They realized it might have been a problem, so they cut it. They bowed to the pressure from morons like this that are going after Snoop now, right? And how did this movie do, by the way? Was it a big success? Did everybody love it? No, it was a huge damn flop because nobody liked it and no one went to see it. Apparently, all of these people doing the canceling didn't go to the movie enough to support it to make it successful. What does that tell you? If you want, you know what? I think a reasonable deduction, go woke, go broke. There it is in action, people. We can demonstrate it over and over and over again. Ask Mark, who works in retail. Mark, how much did they promote rainbow colored everything in your store this year for so-called Pride Month? And why do you think that is? I know the answer because he pointed out to me. He showed me the shelves, how all of that stuff was gone during Pride Month because it didn't sell. Because he sees it at the end of Pride Month all being liquidated because no one bought this rainbow-colored crap. I mean, even people that I know in the gay community are sick of this stuff. They're like, my personal preferences are not your advertising dollars. They're tired of being tokenized that way. They're tired of being pandered to. People are intelligent. They know when they're being used. Well, most people do. There are some morons out there that just, shove the popcorn in their mouth and say, it's a cartoon, so I've got to enjoy it, right? The move was celebrated by Hollywood voices with Chris Evans, who usurped the voice of Buzz Lightyear from Tim Allen, dismissing critics as idiots who, oh yeah, idiots because they won't give you their money, who would die off like dinosaurs. I'm sorry, but it's the people that aren't reproducing, that are waiting too long to have children, deciding not to have children because they don't want the responsibility, gay couples looking for other people's children to raise. They're the ones that die off like dinosaurs. You know, when you talk about, you know, evolution, you know, understand how it works. Survival of the fittest, okay? If there is something in your genetic makeup that prevents you from reproducing, your bloodline dies. That's how evolution works. You know? Just saying. But audiences didn't embrace it. Lightyear flopped at the box office, leaving Pixar scrambling to explain the failure. Yeah, we all know the reason, but you're going to make up whatever reason you choose. Now, with this Snoop Dogg Disney controversy exploding, the very same scene is back in the headlines, and this time it's a mainstream celebrity, not conservative pundits, driving the pushback. Yeah. And I don't, in this one area, I won't overgeneralize, but I do want you to think about it. Who is Snoop Dogg's audience? What is the demographic? And where do you think they come down on these rainbow-colored issues? Think about it. The Snoop Dogg Disney fallout isn't just about a children's film. It's about how Hollywood enforces its cultural rules and how even established stars can find themselves punished for going against the script. How Hollywood enforces its cultural rules. Or, again, let's look to history, how the Maoists enforced their cultural leap forward by doxing and punishing and canceling people. Look into it. If you don't know your history, you are destined to repeat it. This is why I call them cultural Marxists. Speak out against Disney Pixar? Expect censorship and condemnation. Question the messaging in kids' movies. Prepare for other celebrities to call you out. Change with the times as Snoop has? Hollywood won't forgive you for it. Well, guess what? The movie-going audience isn't forgiving Hollywood. And not just for this. They don't like their bad movies. But as the audience turns away from Hollywood, Hollywood loses its power. Stand up to them. They are not as powerful as you think they are. Don't let yourself be canceled. Only you can cancel yourself. If you give in to the mob, you're done. Snoop Dogg may not have set out to become a cultural warrior, but Hollywood's reaction to his Disney criticism has made him one. The same industry that once cheered his anti-Trump barbs is now branding him a villain and echoing the concerns of millions of parents. And be careful, because if you say anything bad, you will be on the receiving end of that. Even if everything that you're saying now is perfectly in line, tomorrow it might be different. So you better not say a bad later that was okay today. Perhaps Snoop's story shows how even entertainers change with the times. As America shifts, so does he. And now his blunt honesty is highlighting just how out of touch Hollywood has become with its audiences. This one comes to us from Marvin Montanaro, and I have to believe that some of the puns that I pointed out, he knew what he was doing when he wrote that. So, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to, I'm going to share those promos with you that I was so proud of putting together today. I'm going to have a little sip, calm down. We'll get back to your comments in just under 3 minutes. 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Be right back.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Netters Network, we're celebrating a channel that just hit the milestone of YouTube monetization. We'll sit down and chat with Corey of Wilky's Movies and Music and give you a chance to subscribe and maybe become a member. All this and more on Netters Network, Thursday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, 3 female African-American mathematicians play a pivotal role in astronaut John Glenn's launch into orbit while dealing with racial and gender discrimination. Genius has no race, strength has no gender, courage has no limit in Hidden Figures. On Netters Network Retro Cinema, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Papa Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Dive into the eerie, surreal world of Twin Peaks with us every Tuesday. Join passionate superfans as we unravel mysteries, decode Lynchian symbolism, and sip some damn fine coffee together. Whether you're a Black Lodge veteran or a curious newcomer, our live discussions on YouTube and X will keep you hooked. Come join the conversation. Who killed Laura Palmer? Let's find out together on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates every Tuesday evening at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern.
Intent on recruiting experts in the fight against the Federation's pacification program, Tarrant and Dana set a course for Bukol 2, and Dana's old lover and mentor, Justin, renowned genetic engineer. Then the Scorpio comes under attack and Tarrant has to pull out, leaving Dana down on the planet with Servalan on her way and surrounded by monstrous humanoid animals. Tuesday on Last Call presents Blake's 7, 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Welcome back. And Jay said that he will be listening to the live stream, even though he has to get back to his tidying up. And I understand that. That's you don't have to partake in the chat, but I do appreciate you listening. A lot of people do treat these as kind of a video blog, a vlog, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. I mean, you want to look at my ugly face? You don't have to do that. You can just listen. That's fine. That's fine. Jumping in to drop a thumb. Perfectly awesome. Awesome. Super appreciate that. Let's see. Let me remove that. Which is why it's impossible to teach children about the birds. Important to teach children about the birds and the bees. I remember having that explained when I was very young, when I asked questions. See, this is the thing. Those questions start early, and you have to answer them. You don't have to answer them in detail. You don't have to go into variations. If you the birds and the bees questions, Mommy, Daddy, where do babies come from? Okay? They keep it simple and very traditional. When a mom and dad love each other very much and they're married and they have created a stable home to raise a child in, they decide to have a child. It takes a man and a woman. We'll give you more details when you get a little bit older. You don't need to start getting into, bedroom activities, how exactly it's done, what variations you could do with other genders. That's incredibly inappropriate. Hell, I don't even have that deep a conversation with my adult friends, for crying out loud. I don't know. Or those celebrities are being are packing up and leaving the country. Yeah. It's not just because they're upset about the outcome of an election. There's a lot more to it than that. They're afraid they're going to start getting investigated, and they have something that they want to hide. Multiple businesses are leaving California, not just in the entertainment industry. Well, okay, let's pause right there. When businesses, let's face it, the entertainment industry is the biggest industry in LA, right? So if they're picking up and leaving, all the businesses that support them are leaving. We're talking carpenters, raw material suppliers, food vendors, all these kinds of businesses that support the entertainment industry start drying up because the entertainment industry is leaving. So what do? But that brings us to your other portion here, because the taxes and crimes, and Gavin Newsom's official response was, fuck you, bye, government social media. Yeah. So when the consumers and the taxpayers leave your state, you're pretty much screwed. You are screwed. Yeah, let's cancel Snoop. I mean, yeah, he hates Orange Man but loves his grandkids. Can't tolerate that. By the way, if I didn't welcome you earlier, Curtis, welcome, of course. But it's not that he hates him. He said he loves Donald Trump. He loves Donald Trump, the man. He may not have agreed with his politics. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, loving your grandkids and caring about them growing up with their heads on straight. Imagine that. No, we got to let the mob, we got to let the village come take our children and raise them for us. I think my main man Kennedy said it best. We have to love our children more than we hate Orange Man. Actually, I would say we have to love our children more than we hate anyone, right? You know, if you're letting your hate run your decisions, well, you're going to end up miserable and you're going to be on the wrong side of history, right? I've never seen a conservative say, I can't be friends with a liberal, but I hear all the time liberals saying they don't even want family members when they see them on holidays because they are not liberals. Yeah, you saw all the TikToks going out from liberal influencers saying you shouldn't go home for the holidays if you know that your family votes for the Orange Man. You should cut yourself off from. Again, that's Marxism. That's the Great Leap Forward. That's Mao 101. I've had friends who died too small that were died in the wool is the saying, died in the wool liberals, and friends who are conservatives. I'm neither. Almost all of my friends who are liberals don't want anything to do with me because they say I'm conservative because I don't vote or lean liberal, so I'm conservative by default. If I'm not with them, then I'm against them. Yes. And I believe that phrase was popularized by a certain so-called, actual neocon president, George W. Bush, who, if you're not with us, you're against us. You're with the enemy. You're with the terrorists, right? Which was, of course, parodied by George Lucas with Anakin Skywalker, the villain of the story. If you are not with me, then you are my enemy. To which, of course, Obi-Wan says only the Sith deals in absolutes. Well, I think that's an over, because that's easily poked at, right? Well, isn't that an absolute? Does that make you Sith? But at the same time, it's exactly right. This whole dichotomy, right? Thesis and antithesis, right? We talked about that. So yeah, that's what these cultural Marxists are all about. And welcome to the Horror King. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. I was a dyed-in-the-wool conservative, and I started to listen to the media, hated Orange Man, then discovered live on my channel that I was believing a lot of lies. Yeah. See, this is actually the biggest problem that I see. We have so many people believing sound blurbs and sound bites and accepting narratives. This is the way urban legends used to start. You used to believe that... Oh, remember this one? That little kid Mikey from the Life commercials. He died because he ate Pop Rocks and soda and his stomach burst. Now, the kid's an adult now. He's still alive. And nobody ever died from Pop Rocks and soda. That was an urban legend. But boy, people believed it up and down. Urban legends, old wives' tales, right? Some of them were maybe based on truth that got blown out of proportion. Some of them, some old wives' tales actually are true when you start digging into them. But the vast majority of them are bull, and you believe them as absolutely as the sun will rise. Well, unfortunately, that kind of bull crap, I'm not even going to call it misinformation. It's bull crap that people make up and put out there, and you immediately believe it, usually because you already believe something close to it. It is confirmation bias, right? And I see it on the right too, where someone will take something and they'll say, "Oh, the liberals are at it again," blah 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 blah, this, that, and the other. Community note: this is from 12 years ago. It had nothing to do with this circumstance. Blah blah blah, and this and that. But you also see a bunch of conservatives, without checking it out, sharing it out, perpetuating a lie. People really, what did Reagan say? Trust, but verify. Say, that sounds true to me. But before I share it, let me double check and make sure it's true. Hell, it's as easy as, is this true? You type it right into the comments of whatever you're seeing. And yes, I understand AI doesn't always get it right, but at least Grok gives you a citation. Just like Wikipedia isn't always right. Check the citation. Is the citation valid? Yeah. Anyway. And welcome, longest running superhero RPG on Earth. Good to see you, my friend. So glad you stopped in for Liquid Lunch, or at least the end of Liquid Lunch. All of this reminds me of Buffalo Springfield's song, For What It's Worth. A great song off of the Wonder Years soundtrack. Let's see. I can't say who I work for, but they are closing stores in California so fast that it's not funny. What I can also say about his company is they have had a huge DEI problem that has resulted in a lot of lawsuits, and he doesn't work for Cracker Barrel. Because that's true of Cracker Barrel too. And a lot of other companies. Let's be honest. My saying that he works for a company that's getting sued for DEI practices does not narrow it down significantly. Because when I think Dark Sith Lord, I think W. Bush. Yeah, I'm starting to as well. And that's coming from a dyed-in-the-wool conservative, Let's be honest, though. As I've gotten older, I've moved from the far-right conservative to the more right-of-center moderate. I've embraced a lot more classical liberal ethos. if you will, which do very much align with conservatives if they could get out of their neocon, control. My favorite urban legend is Mr. Rogers was a badass non-vet. Yes, exactly. Which was absolutely not true. He was a minister and a pacifist. However, who was a badass marksman was Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Look that one up. Very interesting story. Social media is worse than urban legends because somebody said something stupid and then a million people hear it at once. Yeah, it's the same thing, but like on mega steroids. That's the problem. That's the problem. Like in the 80s scare that bubble yum gum was made from spider eggs. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And anyone with even a tiny amount of intelligence would say, that doesn't sound right. First, who would come up with that idea in the first place? Secondly, how would that even work? And thirdly, how does that get past the FDA? Yes, I know there's, a lot of problems with the FDA, but if they're nothing else, they're good at saying you got to list all of your ingredients on your products. So, this is the kind of thing that some kid imagined on the playground, and he told his friends, and they bought it because they're stupid kids, and all the kids start saying it, and people start believing it. I remember stories about, things that Prince did during his concerts, where they were incredible exaggerations to the point of outright lies, but my mom believed him and said that I couldn't go to a Prince concert, which is very unfortunate because now I can't go to a Prince concert. But anyway. Oh, thanks so much, Joe's Atmosphere. Joe's Atmosphere is great about sharing out the stream. He always does. So I go out of my way to try to make sure I'm always sharing out his streams as well. Netter is back from her training. Glad to see you there, Netter. Yep, I've heard some real whoppers on my side. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It's embarrassing, right? When you're, I don't care which side you're on, whatever your political affiliation is, when you see your own people doing stupid shit, believing stupid shit that is demonstrably untrue, and they're getting blasted on social media because of it. It's like, guys, you're making us look bad. You're representing what I believe to be a good and true ideology, and you're making us you're making it easy to shoot holes in us. You're an idiot. I brought the killer clowns from you bought. You said brought, but you meant bought. Killer Clowns from Outer Space on Blu-ray over the weekend for €18.95 with free postage. I don't know how that translates to US dollars, but again, I am a huge believer in preserving media through physical media. So glad to hear it, man. And Blu-ray is higher quality than DVD. I deal in DVD a lot because I like to be able to rip and edit and do things and whatnot. But Blu-ray is awesome. Yeah, I have ChatGPT for research with my RPG, and it tends to be wrong a lot. It's called the AI hallucination, where the AI wants to finish a sentence even when it doesn't know the right answer. That is probably the best answer of the AI, or explanation of the AI hallucination I've ever seen. Because you can do this on your phone. This is what we're calling AI, but it's not AI. If you go on your phone and you start texting someone, and you start to type in a letter, you'll get suggestions of words that the computer thinks you might be trying to think of based on your past history of chats, which can be kind of freaky when you see some odd choices come up. It's like, you know, or you know, it'll try to complete the whole sentence for you, guessing what you're going to say, and sometimes it's right, and you just hit enter, and you've just typed a whole sentence without having. Well, ChatGPT and these large language models, not true AI, there is no such thing as true AI. What we're calling AI is not AI. These large language models are doing exactly that. And this is why if you rely on them, they will get things wrong. You will get... you have a lot of interns, you know, in law firms that are writing legal briefs using ChatGPT, which are absolutely wrong, creating cases out of whole cloth, because that's what they're doing. It's just creating what it thinks you might be wanting to say next without any consideration for what's true. You have to double check that stuff. And again, I don't know about ChatGPT, but Grok will give you that text, and then on the side, it will have annotations for where it got the information from. So you can go and look at it, and you can see, yep, they were right, or nope, that's wrong, but I can see where it was drawing from and why it got it wrong. So always, always check the sources. And if you're using ChatGPT and it doesn't tell you where it got its information from, maybe start thinking about Grok, or think about something else that gives you those citations. I see it when I'm in like Google, you know, and I'm looking something up, and it gives me, first thing it gives you is an AI answer to your question or whatever, and it's got those prompts that tell you where it got its information from as well. That said, it still makes research go way faster. You know what the large language models really are good for? Not for doing research for you. Don't have them do the research for you. But if you want them to word something for you, Netter just wrote a letter to the local school board and said, make this sound more professional. And it was wow. She liked it so much. She's like, that's what I'm using, you know. I did the same thing as I was doing a prompt for one of my promos. I was like, I don't have a lot of time. Let's see what Grok can come up with. And Grok came up with something brilliant. I had to edit it because it was trying to add stuff that, although it was really good, I was like, because it was saying something about, you know, follow us on these social media platforms. And it did brackets to insert the social media platforms. And I'm like, that's a brilliant idea, but that's not exactly where I'm going with this. I'm specifically talking about this platform, but file that wording away for something else I might do later on, you know. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in one of your live streams, so I thought I'd say it now. If I did mention this already, sorry for repeating myself. Was it something you said before this or after this? Was it the thing about the killer clowns that you're referring to? Either way, that's cool. Yeah, because I don't remember you saying it before. Appreciate you guys saying hi to each other and encouraging each other. Or if you swallow chewing gum, it will stay in your stomach for 50 years. Yeah, I remember that one. For the one about kids who had to cut out his tongue, licked an envelope that had spider eggs in it, and the spider eggs got into his mouth. Yeah, I've heard that one too. Or the one about the kid who licked an envelope with a cut on his tongue. Envelope, had spider laid in his tongue. Yeah, and that's the equivalent of creepypastas, right? We used to tell those kinds of stories on the schoolyard, and then creepypasta became a thing, and those stories ended up making it out onto the internet, which they make for great creepy stories as long as you know it's all bullcrap. But then people will turn around and reshare them as if they were real, and people start believing this crap because people are stupid. So it's about $22.05 US. Okay, Okay, yeah, that's not bad, right? About $20 for a Blu-ray. If it's one that you like, absolutely. Would have been here earlier, but I got Doom: The Dark Ages, and I missed the notification. That's fair. At least you got the notification, right, Matanui? And you can always like rewind and watch from the beginning or something. I'm getting ready to wrap up here though. What I use AI for most is I'll say, I need a villain that does this, and it reads 100 websites, then answers me a few seconds later. Saves me time. Yeah. You know what? It's funny because that's exactly what you would do yourself, right? This is what you need. So you go out and you do some searching on the web. Okay, this guy's got this. I like that costume. I'll use that costume. Let's see. Oh, this guy's got some cool stats. I'll use that. Oh, this guy's got a great backstory. I'll use that. You know, you're doing exactly what AI does. It just does it for you faster. Another thing I like about AI is I input my entire game's history, and AI tells me if I'm going to contradict my own continuity. Hey! Something that George R.R. Martin might want to think about doing. And it's not as difficult as it used to be. You could take a wiki and integrate it into an AI and manage your continuity that way. Hollywood, maybe you might want to start thinking about doing that too. Or if you play with something, you'll go blind. Yeah, exactly right. That's not how spider eggs work. Yeah, that's all it takes. That simple statement when you know that's the case, right? That's not how spider eggs work. Look into, spiders laying eggs, which, let's face it, there are many breeds and species of spiders. They lay eggs very, very differently. Some of them do lay eggs into living species. None of them are humans. There is not a single documented case of spider eggs being laid in a human. Never has happened. Usually, parasitic species that lay eggs in other species are very, very specific to a very specific species that they prey on for a very specific reason. And humans ain't one of them. So, just saying. Anyway, this is a crazy mixed up world, I guess, is what I'm basically getting at. And I guess that's what we always come back to on WTF Wednesday. You look at stuff you see on social media, you hear stupid things people say, and you go, what the fuck seriously is wrong with you people? So that's my little rant for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy what I do here every day at noon Central, 1 Eastern on Liquid Lunch. And I hope you enjoy this channel. If you do, please support it. Otherwise, I won't be able to continue doing it. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Become a member. For as little as $2 a month, every single video I do, I list you not only in the closing credits you're about to see, so that you see your name up on the screen, but in the description below, and I tag you. So if the notifications aren't working because YouTube, you will get a notification on every video I do that says, hey member, you were mentioned in this video, because you are mentioned in every video in the description because you're a member. It's not mentioned in my description of what membership includes, but that is one thing that might be worth it. Anyway, guys, I thank you so much for hanging out with me, listening to me babble on like an old fart, yammering on, because that's what the guy at the end of the bar does. You guys take care, and I will see you on the next one, which is tomorrow's Liquid Lunch. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.